and I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black. I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm black.
Well, since February's starting to wind down to a close and Black History Month is ending, I feel we should show some love to black animated characters.
Let's get naked!
Not that kind of love. Now I know you might be thinking, wait, hasn't other black YouTubers done this? Well, yeah, they have, and with characters from the old nostalgic shows and movies. For this one, I'm going to be showcasing black characters from current animated shows that are either still running or came out within the 2010s. Just a heads up, I'm not including characters that feel too much like a bare-bones stereotype of some sort, so Clyde from Loud House doesn't count. And I'll tell you now, characters that we want to consider black won't really be talked about either, because they're technically not black. They're not human, of course, so can't really count it. But they do get an honorable shout out, so take a bow, Garner from Steven Universe. The first black character to look at is Zach from Milo Murphy's Law, a character who's sorta like an everyman of his friend group in terms of his reactions to crazy randomness that happens when he's around Milo. He comes off as a cool and collected guy when things aren't going crazy.
Ah, wait, why aren't you screaming? They're even scarier in bags.
I am a robot, I am a robot, I am a robot.
The cool thing about him and a good chunk of characters I'll talk about later is that he doesn't really pertain to any stereotypes. He doesn't talk ghetto or act ghetto in any way. He even has this one thing going for him where he was in a boy band of all things.
Chop away at my heart, and I will never part. You've been there from the start. Chop away at my heart.
That alone should have you questioning his blackness, but for real, he's still an enjoyable character and someone you can get a good laugh from.
Potentially cool in a hipster kind of way.
The next black character is Remy from Big City Greens. In 2000s, we had Irwin from Grim Adventures. Now in 2010s, there's just Remy, a rich boy who actually works, mainly because of how pathetic he can be some of the time.
Yo, Beetle Remy! Protect your core! Don't sword me! Neat story, Cricket. What the heck? I thought I was Cricket's best friend! Neat story.
Master Remy, allow me to assist you.
No, thank you. I can get down on my...
Master Remy!
No, don't help!
The good thing about him is that he doesn't act like your usual snooty, spoiled rich kid. He more or less tries to have simple fun with his friends Cricket and Tilly, which is always good to just reject that bougie lifestyle. I'm just saying.
Bitch, be humble.
But anyway, you might be thinking it's a little unfair that I talk about Remy but won't talk about Clyde. Well, the biggest reason for that is because Remy doesn't falter to one of the worst cliches in writing, and that's the young boy has a crush on older girl trope. Clyde's biggest fault is that trope, and it hurts his character because there's nothing interesting about it. You already know how that's going to turn out, with the exception of Phineas and Ferb. Just as well, the humor of Clyde relies too much on how pathetic he is, like the running joke of him needing therapy, whereas Remy's jokes aren't repetitive and run into the ground. They're done just the right amount as to not annoy you. And that's just something you really gotta appreciate about Remy. He's just a lovable character who doesn't falter to just tropes.
Really? You mean it?
Next up is Enid from OKKO. Now, how can I not talk about one of the more cooler black characters in recent memory? I mean, come on, you gotta give props to her. She is part ninja, part witch, and part werewolf. It doesn't get more awesome than that. And she has the too cool for school attitude. She's just a collection of awesome things all rolled into one. Though she's not so cool that she can't have fun. Hell, there are a lot of times where she acts just as dorky as KO or Rad.
Can hear you, can hear you! La, 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 la. Stop talking so loudly with your sweaty mouth!
She just has a nice, enjoyable energy to her and is basically the strongest of her friends. Of KO and Rad, of course, she sure as hell ain't beating Mr. Gar and Carol, let's be real. But still, she's not just your average ninja slash wolf slash werewolf, but she is definitely one of the coolest.
Now to get back to doing what I do best around here.
Now, these next two great black cartoon characters come from different shows, but are very similar in their execution, and they are Nico from Nico and the Sword of Light and Ezrin from the Dragon Prince. These two are great fantasy-based characters, while also being great kid characters. They're both these fun-loving, energetic kids, but the great thing about them is honestly how they handle themselves with responsibility. Both characters know of the dire situations they face and have to be able to get serious when the time is needed. Now there's going to be some spoilers for season 2 of Dragon Prince here, so you can skip to this time period. Ezrin ends up learning that his father is dead and now has to take up the mantle as king. He learns all of that in the span of a day and has his moment to grieve, and he even does it in a fairly mature way. He doesn't go screaming and hollering like a normal child would. He just goes for a walk alone and just thinks about everything and comes to the conclusion that he has to grow up for his kingdom and take his place as the rightful ruler. He knows he can't be as playful as he wants to anymore and puts his own wants aside for the sake of the kingdom. Nico works in sort of the same vein in that he has a major responsibility to save the world from a great evil. He still has fun along his journey, but he is aware of the weight of his situation. He knows he can't fail, but he still puts a smile on his face and chooses not to let destiny bring him down. These two just work great as both kid characters and as great black leaders, and that's just something that amazes me with these two.
You are indeed wise. Thank you.
Another great black character that had a bizarre history for their blackness is April O'Neil from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She had some oddness when it came to her race. She was black in the original comics, then white for over a decade for the TV shows and movies, then went back to black in the new series. Her timeline is like a mega stuffed Oreo. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that this is the funnest and most energetic rendition of April O'Neil, and I absolutely love her for that. She's just pure fun when she's on screen. A very nice touch they added with her here is she's not a simple damsel in distress like in previous renditions. She helps the turtles fight a lot of the time and manages to hold her own. Hell, there are times where she doesn't take the turtles' shit.
How about using a jacket to block those rotors?
Exactly! Give me yours!
What? No! Use your own jacket!
Yeah! You know, even though this whole thing was your fault, April, I guess it is up to me to solve it.
Oh, we gonna have a talk?
To me, this version of April is just the best for her playfulness, her usefulness, and just all-around pleasantness. She's just great.
Bam!
Another current black character to look at is Craig from Craig of the Creek. A kid character again who basically has a very active imagination, also works as a leader among his friends. He's a kid who just enjoys his time at a creek, just playing with his friends, using his imagination to the fullest. You relate so easily to him because we all were those kids who just had our fun just hanging out, making the most of our time outside. Granted, here they have a whole creek and they made a sort of mini society, which is still pretty kick-ass, I gotta say. But anyway, Craig is just a great character all around. He has his faults, like thinking a bit selfishly sometimes, or getting obsessed with something, but he learns and manages to grow from it. He also can be a great voice of reason for his friends. Sometimes he even puts aside his pride and lets his friends take up leadership.
I'm sorry, guys. There's just so much going on with the directions and the gizmos and the gadgets.
Hey, it's okay. I'm gonna get you through this. Okay, first I want you—
Wait! Craig, don't say anything.
Huh?
JP is a great driver because he follows his instincts. But he can't do that if we don't trust him. We gotta let him spread his wings and wing it.
Okay, what do I do now?
I can't tell you.
What?
You trusted me to build the best cart in the creek, and I did. And it's so good. But now it's my turn to trust you. So just be JP and wing it.
That alone is a sign that this boy's going places when he grows up. So I say give him his proper respect.
Looks like luck is on our side.
Now the last and definitely not least black character to look at is Lance Strongbow from Tangled the series. A character who's there to put a smile on your face, just plain and simple. Think of that one friend you have that you could never bring yourself to hate. That's Lance in a nutshell. He's one of the most likable characters on the show. He has a great sense of charisma and can be an utter goofball when need be.
I don't know what kind of juice this is, but keep it coming.
Agree to agree.
You couldn't really bring yourself to hate the guy. He has a nice charm to him. Not to mention, he went from being a common crook to someone who actually got in with the royal family without having to shack up with the princess. Can't say that's not a strong redemption for him, so honestly, give this man a round of applause. Honestly, give all these characters a round of applause. They're just so great, fun, imaginative, and just all around awesome people. You just have to give it to them. They're just great all around. So just give them all a hand. They're all just great. And that's the end of Black Animation Appreciation Month. Thanks for joining me all the way through this. It was very fun to talk about all these black animation related topics. Certainly wasn't the easiest, but it was still fun. And also let me know in the comments of your favorite current black cartoon characters. And always remember, it's just a thought.